Welcome to the first ever Zoined webinar. This is a pre-recorded webinar with special guest Ryan Sykes from the Princeton University Store. In this webinar about retail analytics, we cover topics such as NetSuite Data Reporting, sales and inventory analysis, supplier communication, and more. Please enjoy. The purpose of this webinar is to basically go over a real life case with Princeton University Store and showcase some of how Zoined is used in the real world. And we're happy to hear from Ryan that his insights into how he's used Zoined, how he's saved time with Zoined, and so on. So today's webinar is just to showcase that in the platform itself and talk about it and gain some good insights from that. So today we've got Ryan Sykes from Princeton University Store. He's the buyer for Princeton University Store. And then Eric Monoteira, sales manager for Zoined, international sales manager, that is. And Sasa Moilen, the CEO of Zoined. So we have a good crew here to talk about all things Zoined. And let's get rolling.
Good morning and or good evening. So
good morning and good evening. Yeah. All over the world right now. So good. But let's start with the showcase of Zoined. So maybe for new viewers that are not familiar to Zoined, and Sasa or Eric can showcase Zoined like in a 1-2 minute, just a quick pitch, show Zoined how it works and the basics of it, and they will get deeper into it while kicking it off to Ryan then afterward. But Sasa, Eric, could you showcase some Zoined here for new users that are not familiar to it?
Yeah, I will share my screen and just a minute.
Perfect.
So for those who aren't that acquainted to Zoined, it's the plug-and-play analytics reporting tool that is cloud-based and that companies, retail companies, restaurant companies alike use for reporting and analytics, and it's very self-service and straightforward, which Sasa will kind of explain and go in further detail into here.
Yeah, so we mainly work with retail and restaurant and wholesale, and today, of course, we'll focus on the retail analytics side. But you can see some of our current customers here from retail and restaurants, and also some information about the company. So I'm actually one of the co-founders of Zoined and work as the CEO and the product owner. And for the time being, our product is used by over 500 companies worldwide, and more now also companies in US are starting to use Zoined, especially now. For example, NetSuite users have been interested in it, and we'll discuss more about that with Ryan soon. But the basic idea of Zoined is to really help business users to really get rid of all those unconnected spreadsheets and reports and basically start acting on facts when they have all the information in an easy-to-use format and in a visual format where you can easily drill down into the data and find the answers to the business questions you need to be answered. And if you can see here a bit of the overall architecture of how the solution works. So we extract data from multiple data sources. So basically, in case of NetSuite, for example, all kind of sales transactions data, but also like purchases and inventory data as well. But there can be also other data sources than an ERP integrated into Zoined. So it could be data from workforce management system or point of sale or some finance system, for example. And then in our cloud data warehouse, we then provide the possibility to query the data, and then we, of course, deliver the data in multiple different formats, and we'll take a look at some examples soon from Princeton. And in the end, of course, like mentioned, it's all about helping our customers to act on facts. So if I just briefly show the actual tool, so we have a demo. So basically here, you can see the basic dashboard, and we'll soon see a bit more interesting examples from Princeton, but this is just a very short overview of how you basically see your metrics in a dashboard as a user, and you can drill down into the data. So for example, looking at your sales last week, which were your top products being sold, or for example, which stores were selling the most, and you can drill down easily into the data to dig into the figures. Or on the left side, you have a navigation then where you can store data, and there you can also have your custom built dashboards and so on available for the users. And you have an email reports functionality where then it's possible to subscribe into different kind of automated email reports. And here you just see one example of a store level email where we have some metrics and trends highlighted. But yeah, I think this is enough now for the kind of product part. So happy to jump back into the next section.
Yeah, looks great.
And for everybody listening, this demo is actually accessible to our website. So whether you want to try out a restaurant demo or retail or wholesale demo, it's all available on our main website. You just put your email in and you can open up the demo and try it out yourself. With that said, for NetSuite users, the integration that we have is ready-made. So you can actually try it out with your own data in just a couple of days. So we have the integration ready there for you. So kind of there's no work involved. We have that enabled directly so that you can start trying out with your own data, with the NetSuite data in the test environment, so to say. And that's what Ryan here at Princeton and the team at Princeton did before diving into kind of the full version of Zoined. And I think that's really important that we have the opportunity to give NetSuite users the test version. We have like a test version of 30 days that you can try out Zoined and see like how that fits into your reporting and analytics like kind of requests that you have.
Yeah, Eric, that was really important to us because we were deciding between a couple different solutions, and being able to use our own store data in the actual implementation was really exciting for us in that test. So we got a lot of good information from the test when we use our own data. So that was a big benefit to us.
I encourage everyone to just try it out with the test version first, because then we actually find out what kind of reports or you as the customer find out what kind of reports and analytics you want to see, and we can build them during that test period. So you guys are up and running then for the full version. I think that's very important for all NetSuite users to know. But without further ado, Ryan, I'll get you to present Princeton and how you guys have started up with Zoined, your feelings, the feedback. We want to know. We want to hear how it's been going, man.
Great. So I'm Ryan Sykes. I'm the insignia buyer at the Princeton University Store. So I handle anything that has any of the university's trademarks or registration symbols, anything like that. So generally apparel, hard goods. We have a kind of a good variety of businesses that I oversee. So I'll show you a few things in our demonstration today that really helped us out. So the first thing I thought I wanted to show you, let me share my screen. So, once everything was up and running, even in our test phase, we were able to do a lot of these reports. But now you can see that on a daily basis, we actually send out an email to all of our executive team and our store managers that covers some basic analytics for the store. And it's really helpful because, we used to spend hours and hours on moving things to Excel, and then we would maybe take a look at those once a week if we were lucky. And this allows us to get real-time feedback in pretty much instantaneously after the day is done. You can even find it midday if you want to look midday. But we get our email that's sent out again every morning to our store team. So this covers like this. So it has our yesterday sales. You can see we're up 11.15% yesterday. That was exciting. Month, however, has been challenging for us. We're down about 7%. And then I have our 2 stores and their trend and sales numbers. We also have then our top salespeople at each store, the top sales by department. So you can see again, my women's was up 27% yesterday, so I might look into that a little bit and see what was selling. But those are my 5 departments: men's, women's, kids, gifts, and accessories for my area. As you can see, yesterday my top selling item was the men's 2 location Seal Crew sweatshirt. You can see also that the top unit sold is here as well, so I had dollars and units. And then we also have our campus buyer uses this document as well, so he buys food, health and beauty, tech, school supplies, and dorm supplies for the company. He can see his metrics, he can see his top sales dollars and top sales units. We also do a healthy business in prepared foods, so this shows just for our prepared food business some of the metrics for that. He finds that helpful. We also have on here an average transaction purchase value. We have a number of orders per or number of transactions per store. Sales margin at each store, so I can see that down to a daily level, which is really exciting. We also have our membership sales. So we have memberships for annual sales, for upgrades, and for yearly sales. So that information is available to us every morning. And then top salespeople for memberships as well. So the store uses that portion to do some coaching and some feedback for the employees there. So that's what we get on a daily basis. And again, this is so powerful because we can send this out to our team, we can send this out to our vendors, and I'll show you a little bit about that later too as well.
Just to cut in here, Ryan, did you guys have the opportunity to do this before with your previous system, or does it feel like this kind of like, did you have the opportunity or to send it out every hour, midday, or was it only like by the end of the day, or is this kind of like groundbreaking in terms of having this automated for you?
So it definitely is new. We did not have this functionality to be able to do a recap each day with all these metrics. That just would have taken so much time. We use reporting and safe searches in NetSuite, but we do find that those are pretty challenging to use sometimes. So we weren't getting a great buy-in from everyone. I mean, everyone sort of had their siloed reports that they would kind of use on their own. But this gives us an overarching sort of summary of everything that's happening with the company, getting everyone on the same page. And we find that really, really powerful and valuable for us.
That makes us happy now. Really.
Yeah. So in addition to the emails, of course, there's dashboards in Zoined itself. So I'm going to show you what I use on a daily basis here. So we have still a Monday morning meeting. I think a lot of companies do that sort of thing where we recap the prior week. So this is sent out automatically by email on Sundays to everyone on the in the executive team, and they're able to review the numbers prior to our meeting on Monday and speak about their specific areas. So one thing that's really powerful again is this ability to drill down. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that. So this is my last week's sales. You can see we were down 14% last week. And if I want to sort of dive into that and see what was happening in the stores. You can see that both of our stores were down. Our University Place location was down 12%. Our Nassau Street location was down 17%. So I'm going to take a look at Nassau and see what was happening there. This will drill down now into those departments we discussed. So you can see it was a challenging week in men's, but women's did well for us. So let me look at women's. Start with the positive. You can see we had a really strong week in sweatshirts, up 54%. So again, I want to dive into that as the buyer. I'm going to say, hey, what do I need to do to support that with inventory, and what changes do I need to make to the business to support that? You can see really our big outstanding increase was in hoods. Hooded sweatshirts up 152.7% versus last year, which is amazing. So I just want to make sure that, again, we're supporting that with stock. So here's my Tiger hood. That was the one that did the best. I can drill down into that. And at this point, I can even get into the color and the size that sold. So really granular data that I can really use to run the business. Even here, so here's my my breakdown by size. So again, I can look at that. I can take a look at that with the vendor and can say, hey, do I need to place an extra order? I normally maybe do a monthly order, but maybe I need to add something extra to support the sweatshirt business we're seeing at that store. So we really find these drill downs to be really powerful and helpful for us. This also includes a lot of data. So we just have a lot of different metrics that we track, and we were able to put them all into one document that automatically gets emailed out. So this is our recap for our first store at University Place. This is our second store at Nassau Street Store. Then we also have an online recap where we recap our sales on the web. And then a full company recap where we have all the numbers rolled up. There's also in here conversion for our traffic counter system. We also have information on our self-checkout system. How much is that being used? We can really sort of tell when students are in session, when they're not, how that affects the business at University Place Store. all that data is available to us. So a lot of data that just gets, again, reviewed weekly. Here's, again, some of the same information you get on the email, on the daily email, like the bestsellers. But these, again, are more useful because they're combined by week, so we can really see a trend overall rather than just maybe a spike on one day or something unusual. And again, a lot of data in here. So I think I might break it down and go on to my next little section here, which is just some work that I did. I had a presentation to the Board of Trustees last week, and I just needed some basic metrics to talk to them about. So I just made sort of a scratch sheet where I could just sort of put everything on it, get the data that I needed, and with Zoined, that was really easy for me. Something like, what did I use a lot? Just a 3-year history on our sales. This is normally I just compare to last year, but I wanted to really see what the trend was over the last 2 years. So I added in my current retail year, my previous retail year, and then 2 years ago time frame. And I could really see how the business had changed over those years. And that was information that I was able to share with the board of our company. Finally, I also have this one to show you. So this is a more sort of colorful example of some of our data. This is a heat map of our transactions at our Nassau Street store. You can see just the number of transactions and then also the conversion percentage. So that was pretty exciting. So the stores were better able to see when their traffic periods are, when they need to add extra staffing. As you can see, our conversion rate goes down on the weekend when it's busier. But maybe, we need to be supporting that with different staffing levels. And this really allows the store managers to make decisions about the staffing at their own stores. So that one's pretty exciting too. I do have that down to not only a daily, but also a weekly and a monthly heat map for us to sort of see what's happening in the stores, all the way down to a yearly sum at the very end, which shows just, again, our slow period is July and August when there's no students on campus. Also, January is our slowest sales month. But you can see, again, April, May, June when students are here, and then back to school for September are also really big months for us. And that really helps us, again, plan our staffing and make changes to adjust for that traffic count. So let's see.
And yeah, just to stop you there and say that I'm amazed by how quickly you guys have managed. Okay, so you've been running for now, is it like 3 or 4 months now? 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, 4 or 5 months, yep.
4 or 5 months, and like how quickly you guys are. I'm amazed about how nicely looking these dashboards are, and how do you feel about creating these dashboards, or like your team and creating these dashboards in teams? How quickly do you set these up? Because I think these are great examples for other NetSuite interested users to see kind of how they would like to have their dashboard set up, because we have great examples of different types of reports in these dashboards that I think are super useful. So I'm just compared to before, again, how quickly do you now, as I told before, it is a self-service tool, but how quickly do you set these things up nowadays? You're getting there all the time, as I can see. Yeah.
So it's a lot different than when we were on NetSuite. So on NetSuite, it would maybe take it would definitely take us some time. So there was a few people that had strength in using the NetSuite reports and could help others in our organization out. But it was certainly not anything that most people were doing on their own. And it was taking a lot of time because NetSuite is great at doing many things. And Zoined was really exciting to us because it had retail metrics already built in. So the things that we wanted to know, we didn't have to invent like we do in NetSuite. So I just wanted to show you, here's all the metrics that are available. So there's sales metrics. I'm going to go slow on this, but a ton of sales metrics, right? Average purchase size, average purchase value, average unit sales, number of transactions, percentage of customers, product sales price, margins in here. We have discounts. Here's the margin section. So this is one of the main reasons that we ended up with Zoined, because we really felt like, hey, these are the metrics that our store needs to be looking at, and that information is very, very complicated to get out of NetSuite generally. We also compared it to NetSuite Analytics Warehouse, which we were thinking of using. But again, we really found that it was going to be just as complicated as the regular NetSuite reporting and wasn't really getting us what we needed. So in this is just so wonderful that it has all these retail metrics that I can get right away. So so when we're creating a new report or a new dashboard, it really doesn't take us a lot of time. It just is pretty much plug and play with what we want to use. So I limit it to the store, maybe to, if I want to look at University Place, I can do that. If I want to look at only my stuff in the Insignia division, I can limit it by that. Again, these are really quick tools that we can use to generate a report that that we can use pretty much instantaneously to get the information we need. So again, this was just store sales automatically by department, and we get that same drill down automatically from that. So again, it doesn't take really much time at all, but it is pretty user friendly, and we do find that others in the organization that maybe weren't always using the NetSuite reports are able to use Zoined now.
That's great to know. That's great to know, because that's always been our aim. And I think just seeing your reports and dashboards, they're all unique. And I mean, the fantasy sets the limits of what you want to see, right? But still, I think there's some great examples and tips in here for other users to kind of get a overview, because most of the time we have customers asking, like, they don't know what they want. So they're like, I want you guys to show you what we can make. But I guess, like for other customers, as for yourself, you kind of realize what you want to see with time. Kind of like when you go move forward, you get new ideas, you get new data that you kind of know how you want to kind of bone down.
Definitely. I mean, I'm going to talk about the vendors next, but what we found is that we worked with our vendors to really see what information was important to them and how we could involve them in sort of our planning process and in my buying process, and get that support from the vendors too, with another set of eyes looking at the same numbers. So I'm going to take you through the vendor dashboard. This is probably the thing we spent the most time on developing. But again, once it was set, honestly, I just change one little box and move it from maybe my vendor league to my vendor champion, or whatever, and then boom, the report's done for them too. So, and they have access to this, where again they get a weekly email with all of our sales and their metrics that are important to them. Maybe some inventory metrics like inventory turn, percentage sell through, some of that data that they can use then to say, hey Ryan, I think you're missing an opportunity here in these short sleeve t-shirts this week because you had really great sales last week. Do you want me to maybe talk about placing another order for those?
What's their reaction to this, actually? What were their reaction?
Okay. So everyone thinks we are the best store ever because we have this information. Because again, most of the time they're just seeing what goes out their door. They don't know what happens to it after they send it to the store. So this information is so valuable to them, and we really get a lot of feedback. They're sort of just amazed with the amount of information that we can support them with. So yeah, it has been really exciting, and the buyers, I mean, the vendors are definitely have some buy-in to this too. So
great, that's great, because I guess it came kind of completely out of the blue that now suddenly you got this reporting with all these analytics that they have access to as well. So they must be happy.
Well, and it's interesting too, because some of them want to look at it a little bit differently than others. So for example, my champion rep, he likes to look at it month to date, and that's what is important to him. So on his report, I don't put the weekly thing, I just put the month to date, and that's what he uses. For some of my other vendors, they want to know down to the item level what we're selling. So I include that information as well. So let me show you one that we sell through L2. Their brands are League and Legacy. So they are an apparel company and a hat company. So on their dashboard that they get every week, again, they get their sales dollars for the prior week, along with that drill down, which is so important to them. So they can say, again, men's down 3.6%, women's down 5%, accessories down 39%. Sorry, excuse me. Kids down. So you can see it was a rough week. And again, they can drill down into those departments and see exactly what was happening. So we have dollar sales, and then we have unit sales, same metrics. Same time frame of rolling 4 weeks for this, and then also year-to-date sales, which look a lot better than the last week's sales. So we can look at that and see where our business is increasing here. You can see men's up 25%. So they're able to get these numbers on a yearly basis as well, and year-to-date sales dollars, year-to-date unit sales. We also include sales by month on here, and this is more just an FYI to the vendors, just to really see For our May and June, we have something called reunions, which is basically our homecoming for Princeton. That really affects our business, is really where the bulk of our business. So where other companies might have Christmas as their busy time, we have May and or June, depending on what month the reunions falls into that year. On here, we're also able to show them our average retail, again up 9% for the last 4 weeks. Markdown percentages, if that's trending up or down. We have sales by department, so they can see exactly what's happening versus the prior year for each one of their departments. We have started some general inventory metrics. So this includes the period start inventory. This is for the last 4 weeks. So what the inventory was 4 weeks ago, what it is now, what the change was, what the average inventory was at the store, inventory sell-through percentage, inventory turn, and weeks of supply. So those metrics are really important to us to see, hey, is anything systemically wrong? Like, are all the hats, are we running really low on hats? Are we really running way too many on hats? We're made too much. So we're able to see there at those different metrics levels what's happening with the business. So here it is by class again, and then sales by item. So we're able to see exactly by item. I'll scroll down to some t-shirts here for you. What those inventory metrics are by style exactly. So we'll have the dollars sold. We'll have those same inventory metrics for the average turn, percentage sell through, and we can really use those to really hone in on maybe things that we want to expand. Maybe we want to add another color of this T-shirt. Maybe we want to do something different in our assortment planning. So this is really useful to us when we do go to do assortment planning for our retail stores. Again, we can really pull out by item level, how's this style doing? Is this something that we should be clearancing? Is this something that we should be ordering more of? Is this something that we should expand the assortment? So we really get a lot of information in one report from Zoined for that. And that's really exciting again to the vendors, because they don't generally have access to this amount of data or this level of detail. So they're pretty excited about that.
That's great that you have the images as well there to quickly just have an overview to if you're searching for an item and so on in the report, in the dashboard, to kind of find it directly. That's really
it's very exciting. Yep. Eric, was there another section you wanted to discuss?
We can, yes. I was kind of like thinking about the shelf warmers and kind of best-selling product. Do you have a report or analysis on that?
We do. So this one I don't use as much because it's I probably review this on a monthly basis. It's maybe not one I use every week, but we do have, again, those inventory metrics by vendor, which I can look at overall by vendor. Is a whole vendor oversold or underbought? It has some information on the different categories by store and by vendor, how those sales are occurring, and also just a general weeks of supply. So if I just want general weeks of supply, I have that available to me. I can see right now men's has the lowest weeks of supply. We're understocked in men's. We can see specifically we're very understocked in long sleeve t-shirts, polos, and shorts. So those categories are something that I use to say, hey, when I go to place my monthly orders, let me get an overview of the business again and just make sure that I'm not missing anything, that nothing's falling through the cracks. So we can then go down and do this down to the item level again and really see, okay, well, what's overstocked maybe, and then again, what's the understocked areas of the store. So this one we use, again, more on a monthly basis for me to get an overview of it before I go to place my orders. But that information is, again, at my fingertips in Zoined, so it's really helpful to have that.
Because I guess you still kind of, you have your people in your team playing around with the time comparisons and maybe taking out, also exporting it to PDF, to Excel with a different time frame.
Sure. Yep. So again, the overall report, you can pick a time frame, but you can also pick time frames for the sub boxes in the report. So when you change it here, generally it changes most of the fields unless you specifically overrode it. So for instance, I have ones that are set for year to date and they always stay year to date. But if we want to change this to, again, our current retail month, let's say, and compare it to the previous corresponding period, let's add 2 years ago as well. So now we can add that, refresh to show that those comparative metrics for us. So again, now we're seeing this year, last year, and the year prior to that. And it was just as quickly as that. Again, I have vendors that like to look at it by month, so they just go in there, they click month, and then there's updates to that information. But it's so easy and so fast. Again, compared to NetSuite, to change some of those metrics is really a challenge. So we do find this useful when we want to dive into some more specifics, or again, you want to export it to Excel or PDF. Here's a PDF right there, and you're pretty much done with that. So really powerful uses. And again, I think I'm going to go back to the email thing we already talked about, but the email thing is probably the biggest change that they experience and we experience as a company, because again, you're thinking maybe you're a store manager, you're looking at your business, but maybe you're looking at it maybe once a month. This automatically, again, comes in every single day to them where they can get that data. So we really find a big benefit to that.
Do you have requests from the vendors now to get like new kind of emails or like new data all the time for you to kind of build this now?
Yes. So,
all right.
Yeah. So we're getting everybody set up still. So they're pretty much all set up for the major vendors for us. But then we haven't done tons of customizing for them because I just don't know if I've done a good job of explaining how many options there are. I mean, we looked at those metrics that are available, and there's probably, I'm not sure, 50 to 75 different metrics available. And some things are more important to some other vendors, and some vendors are spending a lot of time and they really love the emails again. So they do ask for more information that we can provide to them just through Zoined. And whenever we're at a conference or we have a meeting, it's just a really good way to analyze the business. So again, we used to bring handouts of Excel tables printed in very tiny font on multiple pages that we would hand out to everyone at the meeting, and then everyone kind of take their glasses and look and read the different levels of stuff.
That's actually really smart to have it. Like, I mean, you can easily just take this out now, like the dashboard you have here in PDF or Excel, print it out, take it to the convention, to the whatever kind of event there is, and kind of show them like the last weekly sales or daily sales.
No, I mean, I just plug my laptop in and I do the presentation right away. I do the first 10 or 15 minutes overview of the business with them now, and it's so much more involved that they're much more interested, and it's a lot easier to access that same data than in our old system of handing out the pamphlets and stuff. So
or just doing it in Excel manually would take a lot of time, like at a conference or at an event. That instead you can just showcase it here in just a couple of minutes to give them kind of the overview, right, to what's happening.
And they're used to it now. They know when we're coming with numbers and data and actual facts and a lot of information that's available to us, and it causes some different conversations. It's a lot more specific, I guess, than it used to be, because again, with that ability to drill down to each level, they can really analyze the business at so many different areas. And they want to know information too. They're interested to know how their new stuff is selling. Hey, we just added this to the assortment. How's it doing? I send them a quick report that just shows the new stuff that we just added to the assortment. Maybe the last 4 weeks of sales, how it's doing. How's it doing in our stores? Is it performing well at one store but not the other? Because we do have different sort of customer bases at each one of our stores. So that's really interesting, and that's, again, that actionable data that they didn't have before, they can really get pretty easily. So they're excited about that.
That's great. That's great news. That's what we want to hear. Is there like, some reports here that or if you go to the main dashboard, or do you have like reports that are set as basically main reports or dashboards that you usually have everyone checking, or like how do you set the restrictions like inside the company? Do you have different dashboards for different kind of people? How have you set that up for yourself at Princeton?
So for us, we do have some different dashboards. So for instance, here's the store manager dashboard. Let me pick up the Nassau Street store manager dashboard. So this is what they use, again, for their customized for their specific store. So you can see the store names only selected for Nassau Street. And this will then give them all their information that they need. So again, maybe they have, again, this is a random metric, but something that is important to them: a retail sale and average purchase value by salesperson. How is someone selling the product? Are they upselling? Is there a difference in their performance versus other employees? So it really gets them some information about how that data, again, they didn't have that in NetSuite. We never had a report for that, anything like that at all. So I think everybody pretty much has their own dashboard. I'm again more focused on the buying, so I have metrics that I use, but my metrics are very different than what's important to the stores. Again, I'm interested to know how many memberships we sell, but again, to the store team that's more responsible for that, that's much more actionable information for them. So I get a high level look at it, just so I know sort of what's happening in the company. But then if that metric is important for those store managers, they can get a more specific report on membership or whatever metric that they're interested in, and that is just set up so easily for them. And again, since it's easy for them to change it, they don't have to go to someone to say, hey, can you add this to my dashboard? They can pretty much plug and play and put it in and say, okay, well, this is the metric I want, and this is the time frame I want, and done, pretty much. So so I think that they see a benefit from it, and I think that our company as a whole is seeing a great benefit from that as well.
That must save you so much time. Like
It
they can
does.
just do it on their own, and you don't have to oversee it, and you can save so much time and make the operations much more efficient that way.
Yep. And
Really
we do
great.
include some different metrics on those emails. So like I said, we send out the daily email. We also send out a weekly email, though, that includes some additional information for those stores as well. So so there's sort of different things that we're sending to the vendors. Again, the vendors are getting a weekly email and a monthly email, where the stores and the corporate people are getting a daily email and a weekly email that covers everything, and then also a monthly recap. So it's just much more timely than we ever had in the past, and again, much more detailed, and we can really drill down into what we want.
So I guess it wasn't that, let's say, accessible before in NetSuite, that everybody had like their own kind of dashboard or like, let's say, a folder with their own data that's specifically for them.
Exactly. Yeah, they had their own sort of chunk of reports. Maybe most people had 5, some people had 15, some people had 20. Different reports that you have to go into each one, set the time frame on each one, export that data into Excel, maybe put it into your format that you're using in Excel, and copy over the data. So again, it was really involved. And again, I think we save about 6 or 7 or 8 hours a week overall from some of those high-level employees. I know our CEO would always on Sunday mornings always go and do his recap from the prior week, and that took him a couple hours. And that's something I think our CEO doesn't need to be doing. We can take care of that with Zoined now. So
that's perfect. I mean, doing that manually, I had no idea it was done manually, like for every single report, and that's I mean, then that's great to have that all like completely automated now.
It really is a big benefit to us. So we're really happy with the platform as a whole, and we definitely saw a return, our ROI for us. So we're excited about that.
That's great, amazing. Thanks, Ryan. I think Sasa, do you have any remarks or anything you were thinking about?
I was curious about ROI. That had you like calculated it somehow in your case?
Yeah, so we took specifically the hours we think that in general that people were working on these reports. So a couple hours on Sunday for the CEO again, and then there was 2 or 3 of us that would update. Would take maybe a half hour to an hour a day, then each day during the week. So we really thought we saved about 6 to 8 hours a week of work on our reporting system and in NetSuite and moving things into Excel. So that was about $200 a week then, and so it really covers the cost of Zoined, and then we're getting that extra time back saved from just the efficiencies that we get with Zoined.
Of course, having time to just focus on different other activities. I mean, other duties. That's
Yeah, I mean, you can get lost a little bit in Zoined because it has so much information that you can really get to the detail that you want. If you want to spend an hour on a report looking at it, you can. If you want to just get the overview, like how's the business in the last week, you get that answer right away. So so it really is a powerful tool for us.
Yeah, nice to hear about concrete ROI. And of course, I mean, it's very difficult to calculate what's the ROI on actually making those decisions based on the information. So that's something, of course, on top of that, what you mentioned.
Definitely, yes. My biggest piece of advice is, like you just mentioned, just what we learned from the free trial was that this was the solution for us. And it allows you, again, to poke around, to get your own data. It may not be 100% customized to exactly how you want it, but you're 90% of the way there just when they flip the switch with to turn it in the integration with NetSuite. So we found that was really what ended up selling us on it. Again, when we were comparing to some other programs from NetSuite, some other third-party applications, and that was the way that Zoined really stood out to us, is that we were able to see it again live with our own data, and start creating the reports that we wanted to use for ourselves and for our organization. So I really would recommend that to anyone that was interested, that does have a NetSuite system that wants to sort of give Zoined a try. We really felt a big benefit from that.
I hope you felt that you got kind of the help needed, right, from us, like starting out, because many people seeing this might think that seems like a lot of numbers. Is it hard to kind of build these things, build these reports? You gave a great example of how quickly you can do that, but it's really that we help every user set up those reports that they want to. And I hope you guys also felt that you got the kind of amount of help in setting those up in the beginning. And then, of course, I can see now that you don't need help anymore, as you're better than me. but like up until that point, I mean, you got let's say on the road.
Yeah, I think we did have that support that sort of guided us, through demonstrations on how to create a new report, and some of those basics that you just need to be walked through and shown a little bit. There was some training material, but again, the time that it took to learn was so much less than any of our other systems, which are very complicated as well. But this one is just so powerful because it is so easy to use, I think, that it wasn't a big process to get the implementation done and to train everyone and to get access for everyone. It's very straightforward.
That's great.
I think that sums it up quite nicely.
Yeah, I think that's a really
great
good
sentence. I mean, we've covered a lot now, and we're running into the 45-minute mark, and I'm just sitting here watching and enjoying the show. It's a nice show, and it's amazing to see what you have built with Zoined for your whole company and your whole supply chain there. So yeah,
thank you.
Really impressive to see, and I think. Do we have any other comments? I mean, I'm really happy you showcased really how Zoined can be used very efficiently and nicely. So yeah.
Yeah, we're happy to help. We love Zoined, so we're really happy with it.
We love you. That's it.
I love you guys a lot, because this is a great overview to get a real kind of hands-on example of how to use Zoined and how quickly you guys got up to speed with it. And this is the best way to showcase how easy it is to come to this point, basically. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, we're happy to help.
Thank you for watching our webinar. We wish you a fantastic day ahead that's hopefully filled with valuable insights gained from this webinar. Take care and see you next time.